Are you tired of hearing that you need to stop being lazy? Everyone around you constantly makes you feel like a loser. Because of that constant nagging, even you have stopped believing in yourself. You have somewhat accepted that that's who you are, and no matter how many motivational videos you watch, you get back to square one, where you are again doing nothing. But let me ask you what no one does. Something that only a person who's the same as you can understand. I know it's hard for you to complete the tasks, but isn't it true that you produce the best work in your vicinity whenever you come near a deadline after procrastinating for a long duration? Most of the time, your work turns out to be better than that of anyone around you. That's also the reason why your well wishers are always saying that you are so talented and you will go a very long way if you just give up this one habit of yours. But when you try to act like a normal person, you end up with mediocre work that anyone could have done. Once you start believing that you will maintain your edge only when you procrastinate, this becomes your reward circuit for always being lazy. The more you procrastinate, the more extraordinary your results become, that too, in half the time assigned for that work. You find the best and the most efficient way to get the needed results. This reward system is the reinforcement that most of the procrastinators are unaware of. You are just blindly becoming this system without even realizing that this is what is making this postponing behavior your habit. People who don't procrastinate cannot understand this power. They see postponing work as a weakness, and they are not even wrong because you do miss great opportunities because of this habit of yours. And many of these missed life changing opportunities add on to your regrets, and the cycle of being a loser repeats itself when you can be the biggest winner out there. So, first, let's try to decode how and why this habit gives you this unsaid superpower that makes you repeat this behavior again and again. This will give you an understanding of how your mind is working at its best and how, instead of giving this habit up, if you try to imbibe it in your process, how truly unstoppable you can become. If I ask you to rewind your life and think about everything that you have been through, most of you will start thinking about the unfinished chapters of your life instead of your achievements. Why does it happen that the people who left things unfinished and left without giving you any closure get stuck in your head? Why does it happen that you feel regret for the things you couldn't achieve instead of your achievements? Why does a film with an open ending get stuck into your mind instead of the one with a beautiful, happy ending? This is called Zeigarnik effect, which is a psychological phenomenon where people tend to remember unfinished or interrupted tasks better than completed ones, due to the lingering mental tension created by the incomplete state. Unfinished tasks create a state of cognitive dissonance or mental tension which motivates the brain to remember and complete them. This is the reason why procrastinators produce better results out of their unfinished tasks whenever they decide to complete them, instead of a person who continuously kept on working on the same task. Now that you have developed an awareness about how your brain's mechanism works to produce high quality results, it's time for us to understand how we can use this knowledge to our advantage. Like it is said that with great power comes great responsibility, and knowledge is power. When used for good, it can give you the things you cannot even imagine, but when misused, it can ruin your life. Procrastinators are ruining their lives because they are not accepting the superpower their brain is serving them. So, There are 2 steps to using this power. Step number 1: don't finish your tasks in one sitting. Create time blocks for yourself. Yes, the state of flow is important, but breaking that flow when it starts fading is also important because it will allow the Zeigarnik effect to take its course and meanwhile make your brain think of new ideas. This step will give you an edge. When you get back to that work, your neurons will fire, making different connections. This will make your work have that out of box thinking because you didn't allow your brain to stay in the box. This is the reason why the Pomodoro technique works for so many people. But the ones who still fail in life are the ones who don't follow the step number 2. Everyone talks about such techniques, but no one talks about why people are failing even after knowing about these techniques. It's because once you break your flow, you just don't go back to your task. And after some time, you are left with a pile of unfinished tasks and the feeling of being a loser. So, how do you prevent that? Don't just say it to your brain that you will be back in 20 minutes. Brain is a visual creature. It should be physically visible to you that you have this much time. To implement this step, timers will become your best friend. Set a timer of 20 minutes and put it where you were doing your work. I would suggest a manual kitchen timer for such tasks rather than using your phone as a timer, because when you use your phone, you switch off that alarm and start surfing on Instagram or YouTube like you are doing right now. As soon as the alarm sets off, get back to your work and never, I repeat, never break that rule, because once you start breaking this rule, you will allow your brain to accept that it is okay not to get back. If due to some reason you really do have to break this rule, punish yourself by taking away something that you love doing or penalizing yourself to do something that you don't like doing. Because you have made leaving the work unfinished your habit, your mind is always applying Zeigarnik effect, and instead of channeling this tension to give yourself an edge, you start living in constant anxiety. This is the reason your mind is constantly counting those piles of regrets instead of counting your achievements. Following this step is as important as using the first step, because step 1 will allow you to tap into the power that your brain is serving you on a platter. But second step will protect you from the heat of the same power that can burn your whole life and char you slowly. If you got to learn something because of this video, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon, because you never know, the next video might change your life if this one didn't.